Good afternoon. This is the 43rd CALLERLAB convention. It is March 21st. We're at the Sheraton Norfolk Waterside Hotel in Norfolk, Virginia. This session is the vocal sweet spot. My name is Patty Greene. I am moderating, and Deborah Carroll-Jones is moderating and presenting. And we're going to get started. So the impetus behind this originally was for the women in calling who just wanted some help adjusting music. Adjusting music so that they could do singing calls, specifically singing calls that might be keyed horribly for women and okay for men. And we're going to try and we'll do some demonstration because Deborah and I have two completely different voices. They're similar, but they're very different. And we sometimes can take the same piece of music, and I'll go one way and she'll go the other to get something that's comfortable. And we're going to invite anybody who would like to give it, who would like help or would like to try and would like us to help you, man or woman. I think that the guys in our activity many times don't pay any attention to where they're singing. You buy a record. It's not so much for the women because we have to think about it. But the guys will buy a record. They'll put it on, and wherever it is where it is. Now, in the days of records, you kind of got stuck with whatever it was in because if you slowed it down to get your pitch down, you ended up doing a funeral dirge. And if you sped it up, to get your pitch right, you're running, there was no way to do both pieces separately. Well, with Square View and a lot of other music programs, I can now control not only the speed, but I can independently control the pitch. For me, that's very important because what happened when I started using the computer is I had a ton of singing calls that all of a sudden became available to me. As a woman, it's very important that we don't sing everything like we're at church and like we're singing the soprano piece at church because, frankly, it gets old. It's the same with the men. If you're a really good tenor and everything you do is up in the tenor like you're the star tenor for singing the Christmas, cantata, that dance gets old. It's pretty, but you really need to figure out a way to get some variety. Some men think and some women too, but men think they have to sing way down to the bass. And any time you're singing like this or you're singing like this, if you adjust your song one way or the other, you will find it'll be much more pleasant for the dancers to listen to, and you won't have the potential to do as much damage to your instrument that we're supposed to take care of. I know a lot of very popular callers who, when I watch them, they're awesome patter, right where they need to be with patter, and they throw on a singing call, and all of a sudden the chin's out, and the veins are popping, and I just sit there and I think, if you take a cue from the women and you drop that a couple clicks, you might actually be able to have your neck and your chin in the correct position, and you might actually sound really kind of awesome. So we're going to, do a couple samples and just show you where the song naturally is and how we go about figuring out how to pitch it. So I've actually got the same one as I had last time. You've got a friend? Which ones do you have left? I have Dream a Little Dream. So okay, start with. You want to do Dream a Little Dream? No, do Dream a Little Dream. What else do you have? That's all I got so far. I do one at a time. I know. I was just wondering if you had ones in common. So, wait a minute.
Pictures. Have you seen the commercial for my Big Fat Greek Wedding too?
Yes.
Where the older women, they have their hands around each other, but they're gripping each other's necks. And when they say, okay, now, they all pull back so the neck is tighter. Yeah.
We're not going to do that. So there's been a lot of really great music that's come out recently, fun music, and I just want to do them. And You've Got a Friend is James Taylor. Love the song. I think it's a kind of a nice song to do when you want to be friendly and say, sometimes I do it at the end of a dance because, they're my family and I'm going to be there for them. So the actual key for me is a little high. When you're down and troubled, that part's okay. Need a helping hand. And that's not a stretch, but I don't want to sing that all night. Oh, nothing is going right. Let's get to the... Close your eyes and think of me, and soon I will be there. So that's kind of the high part of the song, the soon I will be there, and I could do it, but I have somebody at my house who's always saying you need to change it. So in Square View, we can go up or down, which I think is really cool. So this is 0. And first I'm going to think, let's see what happens if I go up a couple. And trouble. Now that doesn't help me because I need it. Because I'm up higher. I can sing it if I'm in church, but I don't want to be singing that all night. Oh, nothing is going right. I can sing it down, but it's too low, so you can sing up or down. So I know that I can't go up. Soon I will be there and brighten up. That just doesn't really do it for me.
But this is how women were told to call for years and years and years. Get your voice as low as you can.
And you need a loving hand.
Yep.
And nothing, oh, nothing is that's the real key. So if I go down, close your eyes and think of me, and soon I will be there. Well, that's like even your darkest night. But if I sing it up, that's in my absolute cruising, sing there all night. Going round. Close your eyes and think of me, and soon I will be there. So I've adjusted it enough that I still sound like a girl, but I could sing there all night. I mean, so for me, that song, I go down 2 clicks. I call them clicks. And I've saved it, so I know that the next time I do You've Got a Friend, I'm exactly where I need to be, and I don't have to worry. Now, I have some songs where I've clicked and I've forgotten to save, and I'm like, I'm going to do You've Got a Friend, and I click it, and I, just do something else, and then I start the song, and in your head you're like, oh, this is the wrong one. And so now I'm singing. I have to either sing way up here or way down in the gutter, or don't sing it at all. So I've been caught by that a lot. No, there are times that I will do like a harmony-ish line instead of the melody because, right. For some, there are some, I'm trying to think of one. Some have a really wide range, so you go from low to high, just singing the song naturally. And I won't necessarily sing in the gutter. I'll sing like up something that's comfortable enough so that then I can get into the melody. So that whatever you can do to get the song to sound as best as it can for your particular voice is what you should be doing.
So you went down 2 clicks. Okay. Same exact song, 1 click for me. Puts it in a spot that feels the best for me. Did you have a question? Yes, we are.
Yes.
Okay. When you say click, are you talking about 1 full note? It's a half note. A click equals a half note, a half tone.
In Square View.
Yeah, in Square View.
The question was what do I mean by a click? In Square View, you can adjust it's 0 and then -1, -2, -3 and so on and up to, and it's a half step. And it's really kind of funny sometimes how even just a half step up or down, you wouldn't think that it would make a big difference, but sometimes it makes absolutely all the difference in the world.
And on a night when, let's say, you've got a cold, and your voice is not able to go up there, the fact that you have the capability to drop the tone down. Women, as you age, your tone will drop. Maybe not a lot. There are songs that I did 30 years ago. I'm still doing them, but because I can, thanks to the computer, I drop them a step, and that just makes it a little bit more comfortable for me in the age that I am right now. Now, so you've got yours at -2. Mine is at -1. When you're down and troubled and you need a helping hand, that's a good, comfortable spot for me. I don't have exactly her voice. I could go down another step and still be comfortable, but I like it there. So we can do it either way, but everybody's voice is just a skosh different. So you have to be able to play with and discover which one is yours. Now, there are some songs, the reason I wanted to pull up Dream a Little Dream of Me is because the range is like that. And I've got it set on absolute 0. I don't try to adjust this in any way because I really like how it sounds at the beginning of the song. That's when I've hooked you. And as far as the figures go, I talk that part until it gets to the point where I can comfortably sing again. I could sing the figures, but glass would be shattering in the back of the hall, okay? It's just not, it's not pleasant. So let me, I can't remember what Dream a Little Dream of Me is on. I've forgotten. Stars shining bright above you, night breezes seem to whisper I love you, birds singing in the sycamore tree, dream a little dream of me. So I can go on, and I really like that. I've just hopefully kind of lulled you all in, and the pitch is good and the feel is good, and then it's going to go into a figure, and this is where the range comes in that I don't want to be bothered with. Stars fading, but I linger on, dear. I don't want to do that. Your kiss. Okay, and I'd rather say, slide through, right and left through. Now flutter wheels, say, ah. Touch a quarter, scoot back and swing. See, it came back down into my comfortable range. So the fact that it goes out of it for a while, I just kind of talk through that part. I would rather do that and leave this alone rather than try to shift the entire song. There have been a couple of songs, Patty, I don't know if this has ever happened to you. There's one song that I do called Bare Necessities that's on hi-hat, and I've shifted it now because I never could before. I always had to use the 45. Now I've shifted it. I can't do it. If it comes on, and even though I have to hit that high, I have to go up into a head voice to hit some of the notes. I can't do it in a lower key. It's just too deeply programmed in me. And I don't do it very often. But I've found that there's a few songs that I can't mess with. I did them for too long, and I've trained my brain to go there in the original key. Another one? Okay. I'll hunt for another one. I just like, here's one. I love being able to do this one. A kiss on the hand may be quite continental, but diamonds are a girl's best friend. That's down 4 clicks. All right, so I will put it back in the original.
Just don't say it. Yeah, I know. Oh, yeah. She would be completely old. All right, so
here it is at 0. On the hand may be quite continental, but diamonds are a girl's best friend.
So she hit it. She could sing that all night, but would you want to listen to that all night? As beautiful as she sings, you know.
The girls grow old, and we all lose our charms in the end.
Maybe you do.
But I'm not happy there, and I have to have all my ducks in a row vocally to be able to do it. I can't have much in my stomach. I have to be able to have full access to the diaphragm so that I can support that tone. I have to have water. I've got all the planets must align for me to be able to do that. Why would I put myself through that? Dropped it down, found my spot that was comfortable, and boom, I'm off and running. And that was a song I could never do. And that's a girl song. But it wasn't released by a woman. Okay, it was cut by a guy in the key that was comfortable for the artist.
So I have one, oh, darn it, that I really like the song, The Wind. And the first time I heard it, I'm like, oh, I love the song. And this is the original key. So for this one, I go up 4. So I go up 2 whole things. But this is the original, and it's kind of rangy. Let's see. I can't do it in the original. Where the wind blows, you can bet I'll be flying high with it. My love. And it just didn't sound right to me. So, that's why. What a dummy. That's where I have it to. Oh, here we go. Here we go. This is the original. We're riding high with it, holding on to my dear life. And it's okay. Or I could go up. That's really not all that pleasant. Exactly. To me too. Steve would divorce me. Where the wind blows, babe, you can bet I'll be riding high with it, holding on to my dear. But instead, I have decided when I started bumping it that, let me stop it, put something else on, and then put it on, because now I can get it. So for this one, I'm up 4, and this is this is where it's comfortable. Where the wind blows, babe, you can bet I'll be riding high with it, holding on for my dear life just like I always did. So I'll sing that till the cows come home, right there in kind of that place where you're comfortable, which would be different if she decided to do the song. I'm quite sure she would pick a completely different key.
One of the things that you've heard us use is the word feel. And that may be a little foreign if you haven't gone through some vocal training, some specific professional vocal training. Our vocal folds themselves are 2 little bands of muscle, and they have no nerve endings in them. So it is not possible to feel what's happening there. It's all the other things around it. And if we don't mentally connect to that, you can't feel it. So when I was working with a professional voice teacher, and I would be doing a piece of music, we would be working on how to get my mouth to form the certain notes I wanted. And then he would say, and when he heard it, the way he wanted to hear it, he would say, how does it feel? Okay, that tells my brain with my ear, and then my brain does all these little magical adjustments to make this container the way it's supposed to be to produce that tone. And that's what you have to start asking yourself is, how does it feel? Do you feel like you're straining? Is your neck, like Patty said, are you doing this, thinking you can reach that note? Or are you dropping it like this? So you have to keep the physiology connected and start to tune into it so you will be able to physically actually find that sweet spot. And what you think sounds good may not be so. We have a guy caller in our area, love him to death, but all of his singing calls are about 3 to 4 steps higher, about clicks, 3 to 4 clicks higher than what sounds pleasant. But he's not used to hearing himself there. Okay? So we've had at our training sessions, let me click it down, start it again. No, that's not low, and I keep clicking his music down until it's in a range that sounds pleasant to everybody out there. Now he has to get used to hearing himself sound like that. So it's a process that you have to go through, and sometimes you can't trust your own judgment. You have to trust your partner to be able to tell you that, or your trusted dancers or club. Here's a song that I have to move up 4 steps. Now, have you noticed that we're not saying every piece of music Patty has to move up 2, and every piece of music I have to go down 3? Every piece of music is different. You have to play with this until you find that perfect place for you and your voice. This came out, I think, on Royal, and this is the 0. Let me tell you about a guy I know. He's my baby and I love him so. Every morning when the sun comes up. Okay, I'm down in the barrel. I'm not having a good time there. And part of what I do is I want to have a good time, or I don't want to do it. I don't want to do that. So I go ahead and I move it up, and I had to experiment with it. For me, it's up 4 clicks. That's 2 whole tones that it's up. And the music is not so distorted that it sounds like the Chipmunks. Let me tell you about a guy I know. He's my baby and I love him so. Every morning when the sun comes up, he brings me coffee in my favorite cup. And it also gives me the chance to venture out a little bit. That's the tone, that's the setting that is comfortable to me for that song.
So, does anybody adjust? I know probably the women do, but do any of you guys, do you ever play with adjusting once in a while? We have enlightened men. What? Yeah.
That's right, Jim. Our favorite kid.
Yeah. So, how do you figure out? It's not it's difficult, but it's not difficult. You know, how do you actually figure out where to put something so that it's absolutely comfortable for you? I'm looking for. Oh, okay. We'll do this one. So when this one came out, I couldn't do it because, and it's a girl song. Royal released it. It's Do Ya. This is for Monk. This is dedicated to Monk Moore. He didn't even hear me. He didn't even hear me say that. I know, he's right. So sometimes a song comes out, men or women, and you really want to do the song because it just resonates with you. And first of all, that's the first way you pick a song, is something that resonates with you. Unless it's something very specific for a very specific theme. You know, like Disney Night, and you may hate Disney songs, but get some Disney music. Those you may have to adjust till the cows come home. But sometimes a song comes out that you just really like. Do Ya is one. Royal released it. I never did it because it always sounded horrible, but I really like the song. It's a Katie Osland song, and it's just kind of fun. So how do you go about figuring out whether something feels good or whether it's something you need to adjust? So when I started playing Do Ya, I just think it makes me happy. I don't know why, but it just is. Do you still? So first of all, know the song and just sing it. Do ya? Oh, do ya? Walk all around another lady, then you see some. And I could do this, but I don't just put a record on and assume that the key that it's recorded in is going to be good. So you bump it. Oh, I did it again. Here's the original. So here's the original. Now, sometimes you have to. One note about changing music. If you're doing a song with somebody and you want to do, let's just say Do Ya. Monk and I did Do Ya at North Carolina Convention, and you want to do the song, make sure that you have a discussion to start with. Do you adjust this music or not? Because I've gotten up, they've used my computer. I'm just picking on Do Ya because I can see the words. We're going to do Ya. Awesome. It's in my key. And I hit go, and the poor guy, welcome to our world, looks at me like, and I know that it's, There's no way this is going to sound good to anybody. So make sure you have that discussion. If you're doing something with somebody, you kind of do it differently, it's best to pick another song, or if it's close enough, and like, for example, a lot of songs I'll do on my own, but if I do it with somebody, I'll do the harmony, because I know I can find a harmony that I can sing so that it sounds good. There are some very popular songs that get up for clusters, mountain music and Tennessee River. I love the songs. I am not the person you want to do in the original key, period. But I will harmonize till the cows come home. You asked about doing a harmony. So Tennessee River, let's just say, I think or mountain music, it doesn't matter. So you're going along, I'm singing melody. Well, it's time for me to do a singing call figure. I can't do the singing call figure with the melody, so I'll sing it with whatever my harmony line is. So it's okay to do that. It's better to sound good than to get up there and be a train wreck. So the easiest way to do it is you listen to it. So this is the original, and you can sing up an octave and down an octave. People understand up an octave or down an octave. Do you still get a thrill? Do you still get a thrill? So you have a wide range of places you can go. Get a thrill to see me coming up the hill, honey, do ya? Now, I could sing there. It doesn't really bother me, but I don't want my whole night to be there, so if I can adjust it, I will. So I usually start by going down because I'm a girl. Because most times if I sing them up, they're too high. So I will start by going down. So with do ya, if I go down, up the hill, honey, do ya, oh, do ya. Do you still get a thrill to see me coming up the hill, honey, do ya? So down doesn't do anything for me, because while I can sing this in church all day, I'm not going to sing it at a square dance. Nobody will come back. So we know that down doesn't work. So let's try up. What I'm asking is, do you still love me? No, that's not going to work. Do you still get a thrill to see me coming up that hill, honey, do ya? I could get away with that, down an octave. So it really is just a matter of figuring it out. I mean, where do you want to be? And honestly, it goes the same for men as it does for women. You should not have a program at any time where all of your music is operatic or in the gutter. Even for the men. Well, no, you can always sing low, but if everything you sing sounds like this and you never venture anywhere from this gets really... And people start to think, well, he must only have one record. So there's ways to kind of vary your program with how you're singing just a little bit, so that it just gives a little bit of variety. I'm telling you, it's exhausting to go and hear somebody who's always singing up here, whether it's a man or a woman. Oh, I'm a tenor, everything. I'm an awesome tenor. Well, you can sing in a lower voice and it would sound really better. Just saying.
Here's a song, and I'm sure you have it, Patty. I'll give you the 0. Let me drop it down and play it for you. This is Saturday in the Park. Oh, this is great music. Chicago, are you kidding? Oh. Has a really long intro, but the people are like, oh my gosh, we're going to square dance to Chicago? Saturday in the park, I think it was the 4th of July. Now I can sing it there, but to me it has no life. Okay, that's the only word I can think of. I experimented with it, worked with it, and it is up 3 steps for me.
Yeah, the long intro.
Saturday in the park, I think it was the 4th of July. Saturday in the park, I think it was the 4th of sing along with you. That song to me, when I've raised the range of it a little bit, or raised the key of it a little bit, it puts the range to me where it has a little bit more excitement, a little bit more oomph. And there's another song. I have to load it so I can see what did I play with it with. I don't know. Maybe I did leave it 0. I guess I did. Rolling in the Deep.
Roll it. Hold on. Let me see where mine is.
Okay. I worked on that song, raising, lowering. I put it sideways if I could. Anything I could do to it. I worked on that song for 15 months before I ever did it in public.
I'm -2.
Wow. All right. I'll play it on 0. There's a fire starting in my heart, reaching a fever pitch, and it's bringing me out the dark.
I leave with every step of you. They'll underestimate the things that I will do. No, I could do it there.
I don't know that I do it there.
Here's where I do it.
What do you do? Are you down 2?
Hey, you do it down. You do it down too. Ready? There's a fire starting in my heart, reaching a fever pitch, and it's bringing me out the dark. You do it too.
I do it down 2. Somehow I didn't hit the save button.
Now for this one, this is one that's really rangy. This is a good. I don't know how many guys do it, because I think that men sometimes, and I'm not being mean, but I think sometimes guys have a harder time with songs that are rangy. Steve and I had a conversation about building excitement. You know, Tony can sell you a singing call till the cows come home. He could take Row, Row, Row Your Boat. And the difference between men and women, which Steve heard, I finally got him to understand, is guys can go up an octave and create excitement, because usually up an octave sounds good, you know, so they can sing it up an octave. If the women are singing a song someplace and we go up, like in a normal place, and we go up an octave, it doesn't have the same effect because we're screeching. Unless we start, there's a fire start. You know, we have to figure out. For us, the excitement doesn't come from changing keys, you know, jumping up the octave and singing higher, which you guys have you just have the whole farm on that, because you start it in the right place and you go up an octave and you've instantly got excitement. We start it in the wrong place or the right place, and we go up an octave and everybody's walking out the door.
And the men are dancing like the men on the dance floor are dancing like this.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So
they're trying to adjust their hearing aids, because all of a sudden we've hit a stratosphere of sound that they're not programmed for.
So Rollin' in the Deep is a song where, you all know it, in the middle break it goes to the We Could Have Had It All. And let's see. And that's why, let's put it at 0. It's bringing me out the dark. See how I'm leaving out. We're still at the fire starting in my heart, reaching a fever pitch, and it's bringing me out. Blah blah blah, blah 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 blah. This is the 0. Here we come. Could have had it all, rolling in the deep. So we can do it. That's at 0. And 0 is if I go down 2 and I go there.
Patty.
Yes.
Bo Byerly from North Carolina.
Yes.
That song just went through a key change too. There's a big problem for us guys. We'll find the first part of the singing call very comfortable, and then that sucker will change keys, and we're in trouble.
So, but now it happens
like
to
that,
it happens to women too. So what I've got a couple songs like that, and if I know the key changes middle of the song, I'll drop it to almost too low for me, because I'm able to, well, you guys know, I'm able to do that, the down and the deep part, and I can sing up. But here's down 2, which is a little bit, and she can sing this, right? Oh, na, 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 reaching a fever side space. We could have had it all, rolling in the deep. So that deep part isn't
shattering glass in the back of the hall because we started down to begin with. So it's 2 down for me.
right.
On that one.
So we were wondering if anybody would like to, has a song they're struggling with and would like to help us, just show of how if you adjust it, it would sound better. Got one? Come on. It's just us. Come on. What do you got?
I have Jim Croce.
Okay.
It's RR.
Is it on your computer?
Well, I have to plug it in. I do have it on there.
Okay. What's it called?
What's the name of the song?
Yeah, we might have it.
Ramblin' Man.
Do you have Ramblin' Man?
No, I don't. I have Ramblin' Fever. I don't have Ramblin' Man. Darn.
And when I sung it, I knew it needed to go changed. I tried to change it, and it didn't get set beforehand.
Okay.
Thank you.
Well, we'll help you. We'll go right there.
I've got it on Royal. Is that
Yes, it's a royal.
all right? Then I've got it. Hold on
Okay.
a second. Let me find the folder so that I can move it.
I don't remember the words anymore.
File location. Well, of
Now, when
course,
you
it's
buy-
my Royal Singers.
When you buy your records or your MP3s, do you buy them in a higher key or a lower key or the normal key?
That's a very, very interesting question. A good question. The question is, when you buy your music, do you buy it in a higher key or a lower key? 50% of the labels now provide you with the medium, which is the original one that they recorded it in. It's not the original to the song, but the original one they provided, they recorded it in. Then they go up, and so you get a higher key and a lower key. When I have a piece of music that I really want to do, I'll listen to those 3 keys, and I'll find the one that's the closest, and that will be the one that I start. Because I know there are some people, Deborah adjusts songs, what's your highest, like 5?
Yeah.
5, one way or the other. And to me, there is some music that when you go that far away from the original key, it just sounds Mickey Mouse, like the Chipmunks
I've got it.
or Down in the Gutter.
I've got the song. I've got Ramblin' Man.
She's got the words too.
Good, because I'm
So we're gonna do it just like as if we were doing it, and we're gonna do it in 0 first to see what it sounds like, and then we'll see how to get her to where it would sound the best.
This is going good. Ladies, come home and swing with your man. Join hand, circle, left out, Alamand and leave the ring. Lord, I was born a rambling man. Swing and promenade her home. When it's time for leaving, I hope you'll understand that I was born a rambling man.
Now we're gonna drop that. I'm gonna drop it 2 clicks.
She's gonna drop it 2
Sorry, honey.
clicks.
You're so right. 2 clicks. I'm gonna drop it 2 clicks. You heard. All right, and I hear strain, first of all. I hear the physiology of what's happening is not physically good for the voice. So I would drop it
and I hear that the melody gets lost.
Yes,
Okay.
I am doing all kinds of harmony
Right.
because I know I can't reach the melody.
John Jones.
Who's that practicing on the microphone?
Introduce yourself to everybody.
I am Sharon Trimble from Lehigh Valley, Pennsylvania, and I am a brand new caller, so we're trying to work all this out.
All right, welcome. Here we go. Down 2.
For ladies promenade inside, back home swing your man. Join hand, circle, Alamand left,
Alamand left and weave the ring.
Lord, I was born a rambling man. Swing and promenade her home. When it's time for leaving, I hope you'll understand that I was born a rambling man.
Okay.
So you could,
that's too low.
You could hear automatically
Okay.
that she could hear the melody line and she could sing it without.
You wanted to sing along with her.
Right. The first time, you were right about the struggling.
Yeah.
So this is exactly the process that everybody should go through with their music.
Okay, now let's try this.
Four ladies promenade inside. Back home, swing with your man. Join hands, circle to the left. Alaman left and weave the ring. Lord, I was born a rambling man. Swing and promenade her home. When it's time for leaving, I hope you'll understand that I was born a rambling man.
See, even
Yes.
that one click down
One
makes
half
a
step.
huge difference.
Yes. And if you get to those notes that are bottoming you out, instead of going down to it, go up. Go up. All right, let's try it one more time.
Yeah, if there's one note in the song, work around it.
Four ladies promenade inside. Back home and swing your man. Join hands, circle, Alaman left. Alaman left and weave the ring.
Weave the ring.
Lord, I was born a rambling man. Swing and promenade her home. When it's time for leaving, I hope you'll understand that I was born a rambling man.
See, you can do that too. You can go up, but you can do both. You can dip it down a little bit and then hit it up the next time or next 3 times down the road to give it a little bit of variety.
I did have one comment that because I wasn't following the melody on my singing, they didn't like it. And I don't know what to, if that's a standard thing or if that's just one
I
person.
think if you're doing a song that is familiar to the dancers, it behooves you to find a key where you can actually sing the melody.
Okay.
Now I know somebody who, if they were going to do Ramblin' Man, when they're by themselves, they have made up a melody line. They don't really know the song. They've just made something up and they've sold it so it's theirs. So it's an interpretation. Now, the problem with that is if we were at a dance and you say, hey, let's do Ramblin' Man together, you have to do it straight. You can't do your fancy thing because otherwise I can't sing with you. I can't harmonize. We can't sing together if we're doing it together.
Although if I'm doing the harmony
Correct.
and you can do the melody,
Correct,
then it's
yes.
not a problem.
But the dancers, if it's a familiar song, the dancers love to sing along, or they at least like to hum in their head. So if it's a song that everybody knows, it really is helpful if you find a key where you can actually not, because you were searching, the song, but you were kind of searching with where it fit in, so it didn't really sound like Ramblin' Man.
Yes. And I also have a problem of getting the first note, and that's just something I have to work on in the song itself of making sure I know where it starts.
And when it's in a comfortable key and you can hear it.
It works a lot better.
Yes. Now, there are some songs when I've adjusted, I know the song, I've sung it, sweet country music, you sing it all the time, like in Square Dance Land. And I adjusted it to fit me. I could not hear the melody if my life depended on it. And I've been dancing, I can't tell you how many times I couldn't hear the melody.
Yep, it happens.
Could you guys hear the difference when even just that one click, all of a sudden she could kind of hear it? Yes.
Eva.
Eva.
Eva, not Eva. Et.
Eva. Your new name is Eva.
Sorry, Ed.
Because we're protecting the innocent. Gertrude. Gertrude? Turn it on.
It's Et. Maggie.
Et.
I'm at McAtee from the Washington, D.C. area. Are we assuming that everybody who's trying to find the sweet spot is also working off a computer that program like SquareView or SD player, something that you can actually do those things with the little buttons? And the other side of that question is if particularly new callers that might not have the computer technology yet to work with, that if you're working on a record, a real record, and you slide that little thing up and down just a hair to change the note, the key of the record. So are we making the assumption that everybody's working off a computer these days?
Well, we can't make that assumption. So I started records for the first half of my career were on records. I I would buy a record that I think was going to be really cool, and because I wasn't afraid to adjust it up or down. Most times with a record, you can't really go up because it'll be too quick for the dance, just a little too fast for the dancers. But you could slow it down and just make it slower. And it is a lot more challenging to do a record that isn't cut in your key if it's a physical 45, because you have a very small window of funeral dirge to I'll play this Do Ya, and let me get it to 0. So this would be 0. This would be the record version, and say I wanted to get it down, up or down. I'm gonna move the tempo, and I think that by the time I get it down to where it would be in the right key, say this is where the right. It sounds awesome. Dances horribly.
And I started out with records, but I had a pitch shifter, the external machine.
Yeah. Oh, I remember that. Yeah.
And then I shifted it and then tape recorded that into my computer so that I could make the MD discs. And that's where my singing calls still live today, is on my MD player, shifted. So if I get up there with, like Mike Jacobs would always look at me sideways and he'd say, you start it, it's your shift, I will fill in around you.
Exactly.
And now I'm sort of like, okay, we'll just do this. I can deal with it better now than I could at the time. But anyway.
Yeah, it is a lot. The technology of putting our music on a laptop has really enabled people to sound, if they choose to sound a lot better and put songs very easily in keys that just really work. So, does anybody else want to give a try? Yes.
Jim? Hold on.
Who are
need
you?
a microphone.
We have hecklers in the third row.
Thank you. I'm Jim Klein from Smithfield, Virginia. Now, when you find a vocal spot that feels comfortable to you, and you think you find the right pitch, do you ever turn on your cell phone or a digital camera and video yourself to see your facial expressions and how it sounds to you?
Or look in the mirror.
Or look in the mirror. Do you? But see, in the mirror you're still singing, whereas if you record, you're out of the picture. You can hear it from in front. So I just wondered, do you ever do that where you can actually hear it up front?
I have. When I first started calling, and even recently, if I have seen videos of myself, and I thought, you think, oh, I sound really hot on this song. But, you look and you strain in and you're noticing that you got no neck and I've put songs away because they don't look like they're comfortable. I'm sure you all have seen callers. We've all been around enough to look at somebody and in your head you're thinking, well, you just don't look like you look like you're going to blow a vocal cord or veins popping out the top of the forehead, and they think they sound really good. But if you just a little bit. So yeah, it is for me it's more feel, because I know when I'm singing like this, and because I know when it just feels like I'm straining, and I don't have to see myself to know that. I may choose to ignore it because I really want to do a piece of music, but I know when it's happening.
Bo Byerly from North Carolina. If you have never recorded your own voice and then played it back, you should do so, because you sound differently than what you think you sound like. There's a medical reason for that, because when we hear ourselves speak, we are hearing our voice through our sinuses. But other people, some distance away, they're hearing your voice as it comes out of your mouth, and it's different. So when you think you've got something right, you may be off a little bit.
Yeah, a lot. A lot.
Anybody else want to give a try?
Between Deborah and I, we have a lot of music.
We could do. Now, here's one that I had to raise 4 steps from the original, and I just love it. So do the dancers. It's really sweet. It's really pretty. Hello. Yeah, it's been a while. Not much. How about you?
It's your Harvey Bristol cream voice.
Walk around your corner and you seesaw your road. Left Alabama and weed. I'm not talking about moving in, and I don't want to change your life. But there's a warm wind blowing the stars around, and I'd really love to see you tonight. And that gets a really good reaction from the group. But 4 steps, okay, so 2 full tones. What? That, I think that was Royal. That was, well, yeah, it was 4. So let me drop it down to 0, and then maybe you'll recognize it. That was Justin Russell from Memphis, Tennessee.
You didn't record this one, did you?
No.
That's good.
Okay.
Now,
Hello, yeah, it's me again. Not much, how about you?
I kind of like that. I think that's
Walk
kind of
around
sexy.
your corner and you seesaw your road. Left Alabama and weed. I'm not talking about moving in, and I don't want to change your life.
It's a completely different
There's
song.
a warm wind blowing the stars around, and I'd really love to see you tonight. That's
So-
where I bottom out. So that's where I raised it up.
So that's it. That's actually, Justin. That's actually an interesting observation. That when the song was raised, it didn't sound like what you were used to using. So you can use that if you raise or lower a song, and you may actually, it will sound like you're doing a completely different song than everybody else is. So that's another tool that you can use in your toolbox. Because I'm surprised.
That you didn't recognize it.
But is there anybody else who'd like to
We've got lots of music.
adjust? Give it a try? We had one brave person. Do you want to do it?
Got to tie a yellow ribbon.
Come on. You got it?
This has a key change in it.
That's okay. All right. We'll help you. Say who you are. I'll plug it in.
I'm Bo Byerly. I'm from North Carolina. This is one that I do often, but I do have trouble with the key change. It just doesn't feel comfortable to me.
Is it at 0?
I think, well,
No, you haven't raised it up or down, right?
no, this is at 0. Tom Miller originally did this, and I think I pretty much was okay with the key. Going back to my beginning days, I was all record, and I would just buy records, and based on the fact, is that kind of in my key? And then I would just adjust to it myself. Yeah, right. No, come to my house. I got a lot of records that I don't ever use. They were mistakes. Yeah. You can't get any volume?
No. What label is it? I can't get any volume.
Huh. Yeah, I think it's ESP. Is there a volume control on this?
I have ESP. Do you? We'll take it.
Yeah.
Oh, it went away.
It went away? Try it again. There you go. All right, go back to the beginning. All right, that's fine. Circle left. I'm coming home, I've done my time. And I've got to know what is and isn't mine. Left Alamanda corner, turn your partner by the right. Alamanda left and then you weave the ring tonight. Oh, tie a yellow ribbon round the old oak tree. Okay,
I'm going to stop you right there.
yeah, that's too high, isn't it?
Because I can already tell you that when you go to the keychain, you're going to be straining.
That's right. I always have trouble with that.
Borderline straining now.
I can already
Yeah.
tell that when you get to the keychain, you're going to be straining.
My wife keeps telling me, embrace the bass.
I love his wife. So how do I?
But do I have that on there?
Yeah, you
Can
got to
we,
have
can
it.
we down a notch?
No, that's Mary.
And
If
I
I
have
were-
probably gone down one
If
click.
I were
on
coaching
my,
you, I would drop you two.
Two.
I would drop you 2 clicks, and then we'll deal with the key change and see how it feels.
How do you drop on?
on the tablet version, I don't know.
Does anybody know how to drop on a tablet version?
But pitch
Where do you see pitch?
right there at the bottom.
Oh, got it. All right.
Yeah.
So we're going to drop you 2. Okay.
Okay.
Where's the 2.5?
All right. Circle it. I'm coming home. I've done my time. And I've got to know what is and isn't mine. Oh.
Sing it. We're just conferring.
We'll see it there.
You keep singing.
Oh, tie a yellow ribbon round the old oak tree. You still want me. If there's a yellow ribbon round the old oak tree, I know you still want me.
See, that automatically sounds more pleasant.
Yeah.
That's it.
Feels more comfortable, too.
That's-
And I bet I could hit that key change now.
That's at 2.5.
2.5.
Where's the
Okay.
key change?
It's
It's
the
in the
it's
middle
the last
break? The
no,
last
no,
one?
last break.
Okay, let's see. See if I can find it.
Yeah, I think you're right before it.
I know.
That same key. On the old oak tree. No. Oh, tie a yellow ribbon round the old oak tree. Right there, you still love me. If there's a yellow ribbon round the old oak tree, I know you still want me. Circle out. Oh, I've done my time. And I've got to know what is and isn't mine. Oh, that's much better. Much better. Yeah.
And I'll tell you something for the stress level of the dancers. If the caller is straining, there's a stress that comes through because your voice is your primary connection with those dancers. And you have just taken what should be a wonderful, fun, almost relaxing thing, and all of a sudden it's got an undercurrent of stress. And it communicates to them the fact that you are not in a comfortable, healthy vocal range.
That we took that down 2.5 for him.
Oh, okay.
This is Sharon Trimble from Pennsylvania. One of the things also is that when he first started, it was stressful, but since we've lowered it down, even if it is a little bit more stressful on the last one, that's okay because it builds the excitement of the song, and it's not overly stressful. It's a different range, a different thing, a different push, but it's that part of that stress is not okay, and it only lasts for the last part of it.
I've heard you enough. I would venture to guess that if you dropped some of your songs down,
Most of them I have.
but you would be more. It would sound more comfortable, and you would be able to, be able to sail through those things. I do like the embrace the bass, just as a side comment, because a lot of times there's only a couple notes that are really down low and would hit the gutter. And don't be afraid of them, even as a woman. Just like for the men, don't be afraid of a high note, the high note that may stick in the song, because you can always sing around it. If that, like tie a yellow ribbon, that is, if that's wheelhouse and there's that one note that goes down, don't be afraid of that. It's only one note, and you can work around it, as opposed to having the whole song sound like crap because you can hit the bass note.
And I also suggest that if
Sing
you
another
find
note.
at the end of the dance or end of the evening, if you find that, God dang, man, I'm losing my voice, you're doing something wrong. And probably a lot of that could be relieved if you would drop your music a step or so. Justin in the back had his hand up, and he has a comment. Can you give him the microphone, please?
Don't get all sullen with us.
Hello, check. This is Justin from Memphis. Can you talk a little bit about the knobs do you set it on one thing and then you're good to go? Does the hall
Bass and treble.
change? Yeah, thank you. Does that change depending on the hall you're in? Does that change depending on your vocal for the night? Can you just talk a little bit about that?
The voice and treble controls on your machine are there to be used. I don't set all my music bass at 3 o'clock and treble at 11. They differ according to the piece of music that I'm using and how it was recorded. Now, if you've got, I'm in number 2, so looks like my bass is set at about 11 o'clock. This is exactly it. And then if I'm putting more treble in my voice, are you hearing what's happening? Okay, this is also when the people are grabbing the hearing aids and cranking them because all of a sudden the sound has become so shrill that it's uncomfortable. Conversely, if I turn it way over to the bass part down here, what has just happened to the clarity of my voice? Right? It's muddy, and again, people cannot hear. So I like to keep my bass at about 11 o'clock, but for me, Justin, a lot of it depends on what speaker I have. Because I always have the same microphone, and I almost always have my MA150. And it's the same voice. So for me, that's where it lies, is in the speaker.
And what about the music?
What about the music? Okay, well here's one. I had to move this up 5. It's your song that you really like. I've only done it once. I can't seem to get around it. Maybe you can help me a little bit.
Well, okay. So first lesson to getting around a piece of music. If you come up and you're using a strange piece of equipment, before you turn your music on, put it down to 0. Okay. Let's do that again.
Every filling in my mouth exploded.
There you go. There you go.
Let me start over. My gosh, I am so sorry. With the introduction of the little tablet using, we really had to adjust that sound, and that was really wicked of me. I apologize. All the people that are in their automobiles just drove off into a ditch.
That's all right.
Yeah. Just seen a face, I can't forget the time or place where we just met. He is the guy for me, and I want all the world to see we met. La, 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 la,
While she's singing, the question was about the bass and the treble, so I'm going to put it at...
Yes, I'm falling, and he keeps calling me back again. Falling,
That's
yes,
adding
I'm
bass.
Falling, and he keeps calling me back again.
That's taking out bass.
Okay.
So it really is, you really should adjust it to be something that's, so that the music sounds good. Now, if you've dropped a song, you've gone up.
I went up 5.
So you went up 5. So if you play it again.
All right.
This is straight up.
This is 5.
So if she's up 5, I might add some bass. I might add a little bass in just to kind of fill it out a little because she went up. If she had gone down, I might have taken some of the bass out to make it a little less muddy. I do that one at, let's see what I do that one at. I'm -2.
And so she went down 2, and I went up 5.
Here's 0. I can't forget the time or place where we just met. He's just a boy for me, and I want. It's just a little high. But if I dropped it down 2 clicks, I've just seen a face. I can't forget the time or place where we just met. He's just a boy for me. I want all the world to see we've met. Lie, 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 lie. If I go up 4, oh, that's still at 0. That's 0. Me back again.
This is your down 2.
Falling, yes I'm falling, and he keeps calling me back again. Let me go up 4. You just met, he's just the boy for me. See, I would have to do world to see we've met. Lie, 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 la, la, lie, 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 lie. And for me, it's fine down there, but I want to sound like a girl because I'm singing about meeting a boy. So that's why it's the other way.
Now here it is again from me, down 3. Instead of up. I've just seen a face, I can't forget the time or place where we just met. He is the guy for me. I want all the world to see we've met. La, 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 la. You have to experiment with going down and then taking it up. Because now I had it up 5. I could do it there, but I think I like it better sounding it here. What did you guys think? Better at the -3, okay?
A comment, Justin's comment about bass and treble. Guys, if your dancers have trouble understanding you, you may need to add a little bit of treble. Don't assume, my suggestion would be start straight up. Because even with a male voice, if you're down in the gutter, it's very hard to understand. If your natural singing tone is low, and if I'm singing down here, now this is me straight up, if I just add a little bit of treble, it just adds a little bit of brightness so that people can understand you. If your dancer comes up to you and says, I can't understand you, you're really muddy, take some bass out of your voice. Conversely, if you feel like, the thing about listening to yourself, frequent listening to yourself, if you sound like you're a chipmunk, I know a couple of male callers who would serve them very well if they learned where their bass knob was. And if they add a little bit of bass to their voice, because it would make it less, same as a woman, it would make it less shrill. And they would sound more pleasant, and they would be much better, easier to understand.
And you can also use this shifting of the pitch with your patter music as well. If you're not able to find a comfortable root note in your patter that you can connect with, shift it around, and it may pop out at you. If it's down 2 steps or up 1 step or however you end up doing it, and you be able to merge better with that patter music. Did anybody else, we only have a couple of minutes left, did anybody else want to give a shot? No? Patty, anything else?
Does anybody have any additional questions? It really, these days, these days, if you find a piece of music that you really like, there's a good chance you can adjust it up or down for something that you would like to do. The question about if you can't hit the note, what do you do? You can pick another note. If you don't worry about getting down there. Sometimes we overthink it, and if even if you speak it, if it's a place where you can actually speak it, or if there are some songs the low note is like right before Alaman left and weave, and what I'll do is I won't say the word, I'll just cut off the word and put in my Alaman left early. So there are things you can do if there's one particular spot. There's a couple of songs that I really like the song, but when it comes to the last part of the tagline, it's either too high or too low, and I just can't find the pitch. But I love the song, and it resonates. And what I do, we do it all the time to fit in a grand square or something. I'll cut it off so I never have to sing it, and I'm delivering the command, or there's a couple that I just don't sing it. I just let the music play. So there are ways around kind of fitting in those trouble spots in a particular piece of music for you.
Absolutely, and sometimes it takes a little bit extra work. This is a piece of patter music. It's called Beer for My Horses. It was on Global Productions, and I've raised it 3 steps because I want to sing part of the song. I happen to like the music. I think it's really cool. It's that, I use it for patter. It's the Willie Nelson, who's the Toby Keith guy, yeah. Or the law, one of your horses and we'll put on. Raise up your glasses against evil forces, singing whiskey for my men and beer for my horses. Okay, that's up 3. When it was 0, then, and I would use it, I didn't get to sing that part, and that was a bummer. Maybe it would work better for somebody else at the original key, but it didn't for me. and all of a sudden I'm down to her. This is against evil forces. And I wanted to sing it, so even though I use it for patter, I popped it up. Yeah. Whiskey for my man and beer for my horse. So I just popped it up out of the basement a little bit. Don't be afraid to play with your music. There's no law says you can't. You've bought it. It belongs to you. You should make it fit your voice in the best possible way. Listen to your partner. Have her or him listen to you and how you sound. And also with the dancers, I like to tell, especially new callers, this. You're going to hear a lot. Some of it's going to be good. Some is not going to be good. You are never going to be as bad as this person over here is going to tell you you are. But you're also never going to be as good as this person over here tells you you are. So you aim for the middle, and you have to have somebody whose judgment you absolutely trust. Somebody who has your back, somebody who has your best interest at heart. And that's usually your partner. And they can help you to sound out and stuff. Yes, question? Yes, they can help you by listening, because what you hear up here next to the speaker is not what it sounds like to Justin in the back of the hall. And so your caller partner, while you're working on stuff, has to walk the entire hall. And he has to walk it, or she has to walk it, when there are people in it, because the sound is different.
So Steve sometimes will do that for me. If I'm somewhere and it's a hall we don't really know, and I'm just, the first tip, I'll pick something that's familiar anyways. I'm just going along. And if he thinks I'm too muddy, he'll tap his belly and he'll go down. So that means turn the bass down. If he thinks I need more bass, bass, up, treble. So we have developed a system so that I know the first tip, usually he's yapping these days, so I can't even get his attention. So, but he'll, when I can catch his attention, that's why my first couple of songs are singing calls, ones that I know, so that I can kind of do them and assess what's going on without worrying, oh my gosh, I'm doing a brand new singing call, I can't look anywhere else. But he'll tell me, loud and soft, the balance is good, but he will also, if the dancers are having trouble hearing me, he will tell me, bass, you need more bass, you need less bass. Because if you're using somebody else's equipment especially, the knobs are set for them, not for you.
Thank you guys very, very much for coming. Have a great rest of the convention. Thank you, Patty. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Deborah.